The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And some people ask me why I do that, and that is because some people watch this show not when it is originally broadcast, but later on Channel 14 on Tiger TV. Therefore, I want to make sure that they know when I said what I knew at the time, which is 2 to 3, of giving my opinions. Things change, news changes, even my clothes change if I wash them. Anyway, what else do we have going on out here? We've got a little bit of a move higher, not a lot of volume. And there is an old chestnut. Yes, I say chestnut in the trading community, and that is do not be short a quiet market. And I was trying to find that Mr. Elmer Fudd, we got to be very quiet. But the market, for the most part, up 7-8 points on the S&P cash, just getting back what we had yesterday. Mostly just getting situated for fund buying over the next couple of days. My model says that maybe we end up at 2130 by the end of the year, not much higher than we're at now. Could it get higher than that? Yeah, I'm not expecting a whole lot. And if I didn't have any better business model right now than trying to do what I do the rest of the year, I'd just go on vacation and that would be it. I am on vacation, by the way, on the 16th of December through the 3rd or 4th of January, just because things kind of quiet down. But, what can you say about this time of year? And that is the tendency is always to have people just a little too short, all thinking that they're going to get ahead of the market falling down in January, or people starting to sell or move or do something. They get short a little too early. They get squeezed out before the end of the year, and the market just goes slightly ever higher. In stocks that people are getting way too short, it is just a little too easy for market manipulators to engineer a short squeeze with phony news, phony buyout calls. They talk about fake news as of late. I was laughing yesterday. It was tragic, but at the same time, watching the CNN people, the head of fake news, say that there was a big shooting going on. Well, they found out it wasn't a shooting. It's a guy drove a car in and started whacking people with a machete. Well, they were depressed about that because they couldn't engineer some kind of anti-gun rhetoric. And then, of course, it got even worse, and that was that they couldn't talk about somebody because of their ethnicity. And, watching Wolf Blitzer back all over himself and tie himself in knots because it didn't work with the narrative that they like to push was kind of interesting. Everybody has biases. And I think maybe the more we talk about fake news, the better. We know that everybody has an agenda, me included. And half of what we hear is probably propaganda. And I'm here kind of to sift that out for you and kind of be some clear-headed thinking in a sea of noisy news, agenda, politics, and it is news. But I don't know what else you can say about it. We'll get into it as we go on, but as always, we like to start the day off with a little bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1963, 1 week after President John F. Kennedy was fatally shot while riding in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. Have you ever been there? It's a very surreal place. I remember the first time I went there, it had to be about 1991 or 2 for a convention, and we wandered down there one night and went into the book depository, and everything was behind glass, and I got to stand in the window and see what it would take for someone to hit that shot. And, I'm wondering if this isn't really the start of a huge wave of fake news. Very interesting to hear all the weird thoughts of how it couldn't be, and the bullet that didn't do what everybody else wanted it to do. And then you see people actually forensically recreating it and making it happen and doing it again when supposedly it wasn't possible to be done. Now, all you have to do is go over to the History Channel, and they show exactly how it was done, recreated it, and there was a magic bullet. It did exactly what they said it did in 1963. They just weren't good at forensic reaccounting. But this was kind of the beginning of the big conspiracies. The CIA did it. The CIA took down the Twin Towers. I don't know if there was a lot of really flaky thinking. This was kind of an industry that was started on this day in 1963, and that is poo-pooing anything anybody says, blaming it on the CIA. But what else can you say? Wouldn't it be funny if everything was actually run by the CIA? Except as far as I can tell, I know far too much about what they're doing, so I don't imagine they can keep everything that much of a secret. But who knows? I've been warning about Amazon and its antitrust issues. The coming president, President-elect Trump, actually appointed 2 folks today. One is David Higbee, and what was the other guy's name? I don't have it here. But there are actually 2 guys. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot to put it on my slide. Anyway, both of these guys are big-time guys and presided over the administration in 2000 and 2001 when Microsoft was hit with its antitrust suit. These guys are coming back, a blast from the past, and probably the most aggressive antitrust folks. We've had probably, 2007 since we've had an aggressive move. These guys left in 2005. There was a little bit left over, but Amazon literally has a target that's the side of a barn door for antitrust, and you kind of have to always kind of watch that. But 2 folks in there, David Higbee, one, there's another guy, I can't remember his name right now. But both of these guys are the #1 antitrust guys. And, of course, Mr. Amazon hired 30 reporters to dig up dirt on Mr. Trump. So probably no love lost there.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we were talking in the den. I like to call him Schmopek. I've talked to Andy ad nauseum, Andy Hecht, in the 5 o'clock hour today. About them, and I said, this is the almost the last scene in Lawrence of Arabia, where they get all the people in the Mideast together, and they can't even agree on whether they should have water to drink. But occasionally some things galvanize them. Most of the time, they want to strangle each other. But I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. Now I've got the actual meeting time here, and I will put it up because the people, and probably a little bit of oil trade on it. But apparently this starts, I'm assuming, local time in Vienna, Austria. How did those guys come up with the sausages? I wonder if they actually, or that's just a made-up name. I'm going to have to look up the lineage of Vienna sausages. I've been there, I don't know, probably 10, 15 times to Austria. Beautiful town. They always had the broadcast video conference there in Montreux, Austria. And one nice thing is, don't go there in the summer. They don't have air conditioning. Or they didn't then. Anyway, 1,100 hours is when they say this starts. So I'm assuming that's 1,100 hours their time. So that probably means that it's going to be going about 6 a.m. tomorrow our time. I'll check more about this. But my guess is that opening session, it only lasts for like an hour. And then they got a press conference at what it looks to be about 4 o'clock their time. So that would be about 11 o'clock. So it doesn't sound like this thing's going to run all that long. Of course, at 10:30 in the morning, we get numbers for crude anyway. And tonight at about 4:30, 4:45, we'll get the API numbers and then the EIA numbers tomorrow at 11:30. But if you're looking for a little bit of action, a market that probably lacks a little bit, that may be a data point for us going on out there. But that's it. Anyway, like I told Andy Heck, it's putting all those guys together in a room is like trying to herd cats. Imagine being a cowboy on the back of a thing out there trying to move some cats down the prairie. That's about what it's like. AT&T took the wraps off its big, huge, bold move out here. It's got a ton of people in a tizzy in Silicon Valley. I don't know why, because they should have known it was coming. AT&T took its wraps off its DirecTV Now service. This is a streaming service, and it's very unclear, but maybe 6 months or a year, you're going to be able to get a package of more than 100 channels for $35 a month. That's the introduction. Eventually, that package will go up to $70. You'll be able to get their base package, which is something like 60 channels for about $35 a month for a long time to come. This will be what they call the skinny bundle. You'll be able to get what you want a la carte. That's probably putting a little shake and bake underneath these traditional cable companies. A lot cheaper. Of course, this is part of DirecTV's own satellite TV service, so they're going to be cannibalizing that. But by buying DirecTV's non-cable agreements, which is why they bought DirecTV in the first place, they can stream it through the internet with those same licenses. In fact, there's a lot of video already being streamed from DirecTV. They kind of came in the back door on this deal because a lot of people, mostly Disney, didn't want people Xing them out of channels that many people never watched like me. I'm trying to remember the last time I watched ESPN. Can't remember it. Was there a NASCAR race that I watched a year ago? Could have been, but there wasn't much going on. So that's one channel I don't need. Besides, they become awful preachy, unlike me. But man, this is probably we've kind of seen the lead up to all of this and the cord cutting. My guess is this is the proverbial snowball that is now, I don't know, maybe a quarter way down the hill. And it's going to really, over the next year now, decimate those people. My service here locally has now been bought and sold twice, and now even has yet another name. But they're hinting at a lot of these kind of services, so we will see how that turns out. But the beginning of the end for the traditional cable company folks, and I don't know if a lot of people, I talked about it occasionally. I haven't talked about it, I don't think, in the last year or two. But the company I was involved with that went public was a company that sold to the cable TV industry. My boss liked to call them ditch diggers, mostly because we sold stuff that was absolutely made necessary by the FCC. They didn't like buying it. Most of them didn't understand why they had to buy the stuff. So we'd sell, before I joined them, they'd sell 40 or 50 of them a month. We changed that and ended up selling 1,500 of them a month for, I don't know, almost 10 years. By reducing the price of them and moving to a much bigger audience instead of just trying to get piecemeal business. But my boss always called them ditch diggers in a derogatory form, because most of the people that owned it knew almost nothing about actually getting cable and a decent signal to the end users. All they cared about was paying people off and having a monopoly in some town. So as long as they paid off the mayor or the city council, that was about it. And of course, they always were trying to cheat us or not pay us, or even writing bad checks. It was always a pain to get paid by these folks. But this is kind of the beginning of the end for them. they've slowly been acquired. These used to be a bunch of small guys that eventually have just continued to be consolidated over and over again now, to the point where there's only a handful of big cable providers, and of course, soon to be probably only internet providers that actually provide video over internet protocol. But beginning of the end today. After the bell tonight, we've got Autodesk and Splunk, kind of a failed IPO. Autodesk, of course, the long-suffering company out there that really, from YouTube and other stuff out there, probably one of the big winners out of the video revolution for YouTube. After the bell, or before the bell tomorrow, we've got American Eagle Outfitters. It's our last kind of big hurrah for teen retailers in the mall. After the bell tomorrow, we've got Box, Lazy Boy, Synopsys, and Verint Systems. So a few more earnings, and then we get into Thursday. Got a few more decent earnings, but nothing really going to move the market. So it is time to take a deep breath, relax, and we'll talk more when we return in this brief timeout.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Yes. What do we have going on out here? Oh, anyway, after the bell, not much going on. It's time to get to some charts. And I kind of dozed off during that break. Sometimes I do. Need to get out here. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can also call me at 877-927-6648 and put a message in the den. So what else do we have going on out here? I guess we can look at a few things going on. In fact, I've got that going on up there. I don't know what I said. Somebody says Montrose in Switzerland, right, which is where the PAL video conference always was. But I had to fly into Austria and stay there because one of our big customers was there, and we would kind of shuttle back and forth for some reason. I never understood the whole deal other than I have a feeling that one of the owners of the company liked doing it, or was an excuse, or there was always something going on, some kind of agenda. 2209 on the S&P cash, up 7.5 points. Volume's coming in at 2.4 billion shares, so not a big day. But again, just prepping, I suspect, for a few days of fun buying going into the end of the year. As we said yesterday, most of the tax selling is over, so there just isn't that much going on in the way of sellers and natural sellers before the end of the year. So what else do we have? Most of the big movers out here tend to be a handful of biopharma stocks. Novartis Therapeutics, NVLS is the symbol on that one's off 60%. Apparently there was a bad hair day going on there. But some of the other ones, let's take a look at these that are a little bit less well-known. Mallinckrodt with MNK, down 10% today. Now, this one had a reverse split not too long ago. And this thing just continues to look like it's probably headed back down where it was before the reverse split. Anyway, down today with a volume re-breaking these lows. You wanted something less than 18 million shares. You haven't quite gone and touched that low of March 16th, 2016. $50.90, 18 million shares, 7.2 million shares. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so you got that one. Going to get the test here the next day or so, but that looks like it's probably coming into at least some kind of support at $50.90. But again, I think that was on earnings. Some of these natural stocks having a little bit of issues. You've got a nice kind of topping pattern out here in Cliffs Natural Resources down today. Volume is not all that exciting yet. The last major gap on this one, and you've got a kind of a nice pattern for what they call three advancing soldiers. Those advancing soldiers and candlesticks are on the 22nd, 23rd, and 25th. Some decent volume as that happened. Now, as soon as you get those, the normal pattern is to come back and just fill all of those. So you've got to look at this coming back to about $7.70. And at that point, look for consolidate and then maybe pick it up for the next run out here. But these three soldiers out here, pretty much the end of a big move. You had the one day out here, 28, kind of just rolled over. Today's the confirming part of this. It may take another week or two or three to get this out, but maybe if this got back to $7.60, that's kind of where you want to be looking at this thing at the beginning of the year if we're going to continue to see a rally in the natural iron stocks and all the other stuff out there. Denbury Resources, another one, DNR. This one kind of came off, no big, huge move in this. Volume not as great as the other one, but this one still looks like it's kind of come back a little bit. You had a nice move back down I would want to see this come back to $2.22 on light volume, and there you may have more than just an automatic rally off that November 3rd low. So maybe there's a few things. Some of the steel stocks also having an issue. That is United States Steel. This one a little worse for where earlier this morning. It's got a little bit of this back. I would love to see this thing come down to about 23 or 22 bucks and consolidate out at that level and then get ready to make its next move. Kind of overblown, most likely, in U.S. Steel. So why the market kind of treads water over the next 2 to 4 weeks, maybe a little bit higher. These things, if they could pull back and make nice bottoms, you might get ready for the next wave in that. We may have a market that pulls back, but the natural resources stocks may be ready and set up if you can get that pullback into the end of the year. What else do we have? Tiffany came out with earnings earlier this morning before the bell. It's up 2.5%, kind of the last real reading that we have before the end of the year for the high-end customers, especially in New York. Shook off a lot of problems they had in New York with the traffic around Trump Center. That was kind of a big thought for the last couple of weeks. Kind of shook off, did spike higher than $84.09. That did go significantly above the November 5th, 2015 high, but is not holding that on massive volume today. Of course, massive volume means you're at least going to get a retest of that 84.39, and maybe we see that again before the end of the year. A nice light on that may be a good signal for that one to go short. Globus Maritime Marine, GBLS. These shipping stocks, dry bulk stocks, I think is what this one is. GBLS. Come on. How about GLBS? Going on. GLBS. There we go. Like a lot of dries, and these other ones are kind of bouncing around. These probably going to take a few months to base out here, but this is not as bad as everybody thought. We've got a sign of life in all these stocks that are in these bulk dry shipping area. Let's take a look at dries real quick. See what we got out here. Yeah, kind of quieting down back where it started out, but you have to give these a little bit more time to get back into these. We'll be back in a second. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And as we come back, had an email from Danny wanting to know where you'd want to get in for Wynn Resorts on the possibility of a short squeeze. You've got a double gap out here at about 93, 93.50. That's where you'd want to be in this thing on a pullback for a possible move back higher. And it probably would not be a bad play. I think if this thing hit 93 on light volume, I would be in this for this closing probably around Christmas at $100. I think you could get that. This stock has had some massive shorts in it. And you really just need a little bit of a pullback in this thing, and maybe it starts last ABC up of the year. But I wouldn't want to be in this thing any price above this double gap. The first gap on this came on the 21st of November. And if you go back to the 3rd of November, that's when this thing gapped down. So that $93 area is kind of key on Wynn Resorts, and what you want to be looking at as the level that is probably going to be support and resistance. Also had another email from one of my subscribers. We were talking about what kind of strategy to take into the end of the year if my thesis is right, i.e. that we are just going to kind of play around in this area, maybe go 1% or 2 high, and why I wouldn't be selling spreads in options, which is one strategy. And the problem with me and selling spreads is that what you normally want to do when you sell a spread is not sell it every day. I know people will probably say that they do. And if you're really good, maybe you can make money doing it. But for me, when I want to sell spreads is when the VIX is 50 or 60 or some kind of ludicrous number, because there's always a reversion to the mean. And that is when you're most likely going to win. You have a very low probability of losing. And man, if the market just goes sideways, even for a few days, you can make buku money on selling spreads. The problem is with a VIX at nothing, anything below 25, you just don't make that much for the risk involved. So I'm just not as I've said on the show before, kind of greedy. I don't like standing out there picking up pennies and even dollar bills in front of steamrollers. If I'm going to sell option spreads, I want those things to decay and absolutely crucify anybody that was silly enough to buy them at those prices. And you just don't get the decay you want in a market that's moving up 0.5 or 2%. Can you make some money? Yeah. Is it big? It could be. No. It's going to be okay. But the problem is, what happens if you get a surprise in a market that has a massive VIX and a huge implied volatility already in the stock? I mean, the stock has to move absolute ton before you can lose in a spread. And right now, it doesn't have to really move that long or that much for a spread. So I'm kind of stuck with one thesis out here for trying to make money at the end of the year. And that is either make some kind of commodity play outside of equities, or, as I am doing, go after incredibly highly shorted stocks that have come back way off their highs, in which people continue to pile in even as the volume decays every day into the end of the year. And that's all you really need to know is have a bunch of people short, and you're going to get some stock speculators that have a lot more cash than I do that will feed them some buckwheats going into the end of the year. As I said yesterday, a lot of phony articles, a lot of phony buyouts. This is when you start really seeing the people at Facebook don't really know what fake news is, do they? All they have to do is come to the stock market, the king of fake news. But this is when you start hearing all the pie-in-the-sky stories late into the year, and that is pretty much designed to go after people that are short in a very light volume market, which is not where you want to be. So that's it in a nutshell. My game theory is that without huge VIXs, kind of tough to make money in spreads, or let me put it this way, kind of tough to make big money in spreads. And if you're not making big money, you do not have big risk reward, and that's what I'm all about. So what else do you have going on out here? You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Hopefully that answers all your questions out there. Do I have anything else going on out here? I was writing, it'll be in Friday's Tech Insider, but I bought a device that normally sells for about $300, and I bought a version of it by another company that is actually $30. I'm not going to say it's as good as the $300 version, but I'm going to say it's 90% as good as the $300 version for $30, for 1/10 the price. And I'm writing about that company. I think that company's going out of business. I don't know how long. Would you really buy a car? If you could buy a car for $10,000, but buy one that was just maybe 10 or 15% better, but it was $100,000, I think probably 98% of the people would buy the $10,000 car, the one that is just marginally better. If you had all the money in the world, could throw at stuff. But when you talk about consumer stuff, if you could buy a Apple iPhone for $70 instead of $700, which is about what they pay out there, but it was about that. Well, I think they've already done that, haven't they? That's why 87% of the market right now is Android, and about 10% is Apple iOS. Anyway, let's get back to the market, which is already in progress. I don't know, my little pointer is acting goofy here. Hopefully that fixes it. 2209, we're up 8 points, 2.5 billion shares. Again, volume is light, but that's fairly normal as we get into the last month. Not a lot of tax selling, not a lot of volatility. Kind of tough to figure out what else you could do out here. But what else? Where is it at here on my list? I'm going to have to put it back on. Okay. Anyway, Wynn Resorts, we were looking at that. Oh, I remember what we were doing. We're looking at a few of these other ones out here. Let's look at some of the stocks that were actually popping over the last couple of days. Percent advancers from yesterday. We'll kind of wing through these and see if there's anything in them. Amyris had a nice pop out there. Let's get a little shorter time frame where everybody can see out here. Had a nice pop yesterday. Volume kind of came in. That was one of the bigger movers from yesterday, kind of giving it all back today. Avanex Sciences, same thing. This one kind of popped yesterday on a day where there wasn't much going. It gave it all back today. BTG, B2 Gold. Big pop yesterday and kind of holding it today. We'll go through the rest of these pop and drops and see how they fared over the last day when we come back.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And had somebody want to take a look at Vail out here. You know, you had your kind of a last push up. And the question is, could you get one more gap up out of this? And, you know, you got kind of two out here. You could get one more gap out of this. Today is not a very bullish sign, though. It pulled back today. Volume fairly brisk. It is lower than the open. You know, the only safe place out here would be to buy this thing is at about $7.80. If it came back down there with light volume, you might only get down there maybe $7.90 for a brief time. That's probably where support is on this right now. You've got two gaps, though, and you're probably, you know, I wouldn't be short this, but I'm going to say probably 80% you're looking for one more gap, and then that's going to be the top of this thing for a while. So just keep an eye on that. One more gap is kind of it. A lot of these gold stops moved up yesterday. Gold's down about $3. Open lower, come back about halfway on some of these. Volume's a little lighter than yesterday in gold fields. Harmony, same kind of pattern out here. They are down, though, off of yesterday's higher close. Now, what we don't have in some of these is a test of these previous lows. And for me, as a Wyckoff-style trader, I need a test of the recent lows out here on lighter volume. For Harmony, that's the $2.15 on lighter volume, not that far away. Some of these others kind of like that. MUX, which is McEwen, this is not that far away from its test of a low. That's at 251. So we're up a little bit higher out here, but yeah, that 251 wouldn't be bad out there. 8.5 million shares on that. So you'd like to see that in there with about 4 million shares if you're thinking bullish on it. GFI, we hit that one already. Same kind of thing. You got the low out here at 283. You've bounced about half the volume so far of yesterday. But you're not that far off a retest of 293. You got 10 million shares on that, so you'd like that thing tested with about 5 million shares in the next few days if you wanted to get bullish. So a few out here. Another question about Amazon and whether or not this thing is already in an ABC down. I think you can make a case for that, that it is truly could be in a bigger ABC down with 847 as the high, 710 as the low, and 792 as your C point, setting up about $137 ABC. Been thinking this is probably going to come back into about the $6.60 range eventually. Let's go back to a longer chart out here. There's a couple of big gaps down here at about 600 to 650. This big, huge monster gap is still open. I thought that it was going to take about 6 months to get back here, and I think that's probably still right. It still needs to work back. But if you missed the beginning of the show, we talked about how two of the Trump team guys were the big hammers on antitrust in the early 2000s. That does not bode well for Amazon, who Trump into the election said was a major poster child for antitrust violations. So I have a feeling that cloud will be over Amazon for a while. And storm clouds gathering today with the appointment of two big antitrust lawyers that have done work like this in the past. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.